What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. So in today's video we are talking about drones. I've personally been flying drones for about 10 years. I actually have videos done on the channel filmed about 10 years ago. One of them that I recently found was me flying a DJI Phantom drone over Niagara Falls. That was back in the day when actually drones didn't have cameras, so you actually had to put like a GoPro or an action camera on the drone, and that's how you'd film. That video is still pretty cool, but back then you couldn't actually find a lot of drone footage because drones were kind of new. They're also extremely expensive back in the day. So yes, drones were very exciting a long time ago when, well, nobody actually seen footage filmed from a drone. But these days you basically go on YouTube and you search any location and you're gonna find drone footage. It's pretty simple and everybody's flying drones. Well, everybody used to fly drones, I'm gonna say. Now, over the past few years, I found that my interest in drones kind of started to decline a bit. I wasn't willing to carry a drone with me. Back in the day, you actually needed a massive backpack to carry the controller, to carry the drone that was massive. Now, with time, of course, drone has gotten smaller, like this one, for example. This one also has a weight of just under 250 grams, but that has a lot to do with the regulations. So over the past few years, I haven't really taken a drone with me anywhere because it just takes so long to set it up. I also have to carry this with me. And yes, this is much smaller than they used to be, but you still have to carry this with you. You still need a backpack for it and so on. So over the past few years, I haven't really used a drone that much. Now that kind of changed a few months ago when I first got this drone right here. So this is called the HoverAir X1. I've actually done kind of like a review video of it back when I first got this. But ever since I got this, I find that I use a drone a lot more. So I think I use this about 2 or 3 times a week. And it always comes with me because it's that small that I can actually fit it in my side pocket of my pants here. And well, most of my shorts have that side pocket. So I always find myself bringing this with me because it's much easier to carry compared to a more standard drone like this one right here. Now, of course, with a drone like this, you can fly further away. You do have a controller, but you're gonna have to set up the drone every time. You have to carry this with you every time. So that becomes a bit annoying at times, I'm gonna say. With something like this, you basically just have the little drone. You don't need a controller. It is light. It pretty much fits anywhere. And it also flies by itself. So as a tool, I find myself using this way more than any other drone just because it is so much easier to use and control, basically. So a typical drone like this is mostly designed to capture the view around you. So you get to a super cool place, you fly the drone and you can kind of show what's around you. And of course, nothing wrong with that. You can get to some super cool location and you can film some super cool videos. I've actually done a video in Iceland a few years back and I used the DJI drone. Of course, that one was much more expensive than this one, but some super cool footage that I was able to get. On the other hand, a drone like this is focused more on people. So it's focused more on you, basically. You don't need a controller because with your typical drone, you're gonna have to hold this controller in your hand if you wanna fly the drone around yourself. Well, this one you don't need a controller, you don't have to do anything. You just press a button here and then the drone does everything for you. So I feel that this drone is mostly designed to capture you, where a typical drone is mostly designed to capture the views around you, if that makes sense. I also found that using a controller like this could be intimidating if you've never flown a drone before, because you have so many controls here, the way you have to move the joysticks here. So if you get somewhere and let's say you are with some people there, it's not easy to just be like, hey, can you take this and do a video for me? Most people are not gonna know how to use this because it could be a bit complicated. Well, with this one, you don't have a controller. You basically have a couple of buttons here. The top button here changes the flight modes. So you just press that button, then you hold your palm out and then the drone starts flying by itself and then it comes back to you. So I feel that for most people that never flown a drone, something like this will definitely be much easier to learn because, well, there isn't much that you have to learn. You just have to hold your palm out. So For beginners, I feel that something like this will be much easier to use than a controller like this. Now, of course, you can do a lot of crazy things with a controller like this. You can fly in certain ways that you're not going to be able to fly with this, but only if you're an experienced pilot, basically, because otherwise it's impossible to learn that on the go. So before I got this a few months back, I didn't actually use any drone footage for any of my outdoor videos. And as you've been seeing on my channel, I do a lot of e-bike videos, a lot of scooter videos, and I didn't use any drone footage because it's almost impossible to hold the controller in one hand, ride the bike in the other with the other hand, and have the drone follow me. So it's not easy flying something like this by yourself if you're trying to film a video. With this, I basically just take it out of my pocket, I open it up, I put it on my palm, then it follows me or circles me or whatever I want to choose. There are different modes that you can choose. And this does everything by itself, while I can actually hold the grips of that bike or scooter or whatever I'm doing outdoors. So for me, as a tool for making videos, this is way, way better than something like this because I just cannot use this by myself. So in many situations when I need to film myself, this drone is pretty much unbeatable. Not to mention that this one, so this one is the DJI Mini 3. This one actually doesn't have a follow mode. So this drone, even if I wanted to hold the controller in my hand and have the drone follow me, well, this one doesn't have a follow mode. You actually have to get the Pro version, which is about $400 more expensive, maybe a bit less than that. But the thing is, this one has a follow me mode and you don't even need the controller. This one can also like fly in front of you and film you from the front. It can do circles around you. So in many ways, for filming yourself, something like this is actually more advanced than something like this. And you also have to take into consideration the price, because if you're going for that Mini 3 Pro, for example, just to give you an example, you're spending about $800 on a drone, where this one is nowhere as expensive. So I think it comes down to what you do with the drone, what you want to show in those videos that you're posting on social media or wherever you're posting. You can also use this to film like vertical videos. So if you need something for Instagram, you can definitely do that with this one as well. Now, this one records at the maximum resolution of 2.7K at 30 frames per second. Something like this does do 4K at 30 frames per second. Of course, if you do go for more expensive ones, you can probably get like higher resolution as well. But I think it just comes down to what you need for, well, what you're trying to achieve, because, well, not everyone wants to film themselves pretty much, or not everyone wants to film the views wherever you're going. But I find this super, super useful because it's so tiny, it fits in your pocket, it's super light at 125 grams. So it's also so much easier to use. What drone do you guys think is the best drone out there? And what do you even use a drone for? For those of you that want to check this out, I will leave a link in the video's description. Super cool drone if you need something quick, something that you don't really have to learn how to use, I'm gonna say. So the HoverAir X1 here is definitely a really cool tool to have. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.